Hi there, this is Doug Sutton with Hypervibe, and today we have a special guest. We have Donna Brackley from Melbourne, Australia, and she's a top physiotherapist, and I really appreciate her investment of time today to speak a little bit about her knowledge and her experience working with whole body vibration. And with that, I just want to say welcome, Donna, and I'm so honored and happy to have you here today.
Thank you, Doug. It's lovely to talk with you today, and thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Donna, if you don't mind sharing just a little bit about your background and tell us about your business and your specialty and what it is that you actually do.
Sure. I'm a physiotherapist and I've specialized in clinical Pilates, and I use whole body vibration training in that format too. I run my own studio, my own clinical Pilates studio, and I work with clients one-on-one or one-on-two. So very tailored, very specific work with the clients. And my clients are musculoskeletal in nature. So lots of back pain, neck pain, thoracic pain, shoulder injuries, knee injuries, osteoarthritis, movement dysfunctions, postural issues, scoliosis. So a wide variety of musculoskeletal conditions.
So what got you to evolve into the clinical Pilates? That's something I hadn't actually until now even heard of, the combination between being a physiotherapist and using clinical Pilates.
Well, with physio, there's a lot of exercise rehab involved in getting someone back to their optimal function. And Pilates is such an intelligent exercise method. And it just, to me, went hand in hand with that rehab, and I became very passionate about it. I just love the way it makes you feel, the results you see from it. So I just continued down that pathway, wanting to know more and more. And yeah, but it's very connected, very linked, obviously. So it's a great combination.
Wow. So I'm curious then, how many years in practice, and when was it you actually became aware of whole body vibration?
Right. Well, my business it's going into its 5th year, but I finished physio in 95 or something like that, and got my Pilates education in 2000 when I was actually over in America. I did that there, so that was great. But I discovered whole body vibration, it was probably, I don't know, about 9 years ago. I was on holidays in Singapore and I happened to be walking through a shopping centre. And in the middle of the shopping centre was a big pop-up store with all massage gadgets and vibrating this and that. And I noticed this platform that was vibrating up and down, and anything that claims movement benefits or health benefits, I want to go and investigate. Very interested in it. So I was intrigued by this vibrating platform, and I thought about the balance training that could be done on something like this. Because as physios and clinical Pilates therapists, we do a lot of balance training, and we use wobble boards or foam cushions, something to create an unstable surface or to provide more feedback. So that's what I was intrigued about. Now this model was just a very low grade model, probably gave you a little bit of a massage and a little bit of an unstable surface, but it did get me looking into it when I came home. And the research blew me away when I started looking into it. The physiological benefits from whole body vibration training is incredible. And looking at NASA's program and the European Space Agency and a Russian Olympic team, what they were doing and researching with this vibration platform and the effects of gravity on the body. Well, for NASA and the astronauts, a lack of gravity and the physiological results from that. So the research is mind-blowing, and I am so grateful for the spin-off that we get from that research that we can use here on Earth. And I must say, I'm so grateful to Murray and Bree for creating Hypervibe, the machine that actually does deliver the results that you see from these scientific programs. You have to have the right physical formulation, you know, with the platform, the frequency, and this Hypervibe actually does deliver that, and so you can get the physiological benefits. So I must pop that in there and say I'm so grateful that we can use that technology here on Earth at an affordable price, not like NASA's Galileo or whatever, which is $20,000. So So long story short, that's where my first discovered whole body vibration training, and I brought it into my clinical Pilates practice because of the benefits that you get from it.
Wow, that's amazing. I appreciate that background. And just out of curiosity, how did you find HyperVibe?
Again, it's all that wonderful research on Google, and just looking into all the different machines that are out there, what frequencies they provide, what amplitude, what the cost, the size of platforms, all that sort of stuff. And HyperVibe just came out with the right formulation and at an affordable price, and the service, like they're so supportive of their community that use this technology. So that's how I ended up with HyperVibe.
Yeah, that's great. That's one of the things that actually drew me to not just working with HyperVibe, but reinforcing why HyperVibe. And when you start to experience studies and understanding the science behind it, and those important factors of what is the most important things to look for when you're looking at a great whole body vibration platform, and certainly having that pivotal platform as opposed to the linear, and then range of frequencies. If you can just narrow down to two things, it's the range of frequencies, because as you said, the balance and the wobble board effect is actually really important to be able to have in a whole body vibration platform. Yet many of the other pivotal platforms or oscillating platforms don't have the capabilities of hitting the higher frequencies, which provide even greater benefits for a number of different conditions.
That's exactly right. And that's why I love the HyperVibe, and because of, as you said, the frequency range. And you can really target different conditions and focus on different benefits because of that range. Right. And it's so important. I do a lot of balance training with my clients, because balance not only important for our athletes that need it for their performance, but for everybody in their everyday living and their safety in that, but also our brain health, particularly as we age. Our brain, our vestibular system, our cerebellum, they need that constant sort of input and challenge to the nervous system to age healthily. So balance training is very important, not only for the physical requirements, but about brain health. So I love having the lower range and the higher range of frequencies to use. Yeah.
That's great. So I'm curious, what are a couple examples of, actual benefits that you've seen with different clients of yours, in various conditions? Just a couple that actually stand out to you that are some of your favorite stories.
Yes, I have so many. I could list so many different conditions that I see great results with. I'll also say too, I have a G17 in my studio, so that stays and it's pride of place in the studio. And I also have a G10 mini, which is a littler one. And because of the size, I can move it around my studio and place it next to my Pilates equipment, next to the reformers, next to the track towers and things like that. So I use it and stack the gains with what I'm trying to achieve with the Pilates and the physio exercises as well. So depending on, I'll give you an example. In Pilates, we have an exercise called scooter, and you'll stand on one leg on the floor, other leg will be on the machine, and you're pushing the carriage back. So we use this to strengthen gluteals, or the bottom muscles, or pelvic stability and core stability, and general leg strength, or it could be for balance as well. So depending on what I'm trying to target, I will focus on different elements of the exercise. But I'll pull the G10 mini next to the reformer. Instead of standing on the floor, the client will stand on the G10 and get the vibration stacked with the exercise and the benefits. So if I was trying to strengthen their gluteals, that was the prime focus. I would have the frequency up really high, and tap into that spinal reflex that occurs, stimulate more nerve endings, more muscle fibers. So it heightens the strength requirements and the strength gain of the exercise. So I use that a lot, combining those Pilates exercises for the musculoskeletal conditions with the whole body vibration training. if I wanted to target the balance component of that exercise, I would have the frequency down low, and therefore we've got that unstable platform providing more proprioceptive feedback through the leg, through the body, through to the vestibular system, cerebellum, and just really heightening that balance challenge, and then the gains. So there's so many benefits that I see with many of my musculoskeletal conditions. I love it. I have a scoliosis patient at the moment, and just even by standing on the platform and tapping into that high spinal reflex muscle fiber stimulation, we are just getting so many more spinal stabilizing muscles activated. And often with scoliosis, some of those muscles will be a little bit inhibited around certain parts of the curve, the spine. So it's just a brilliant platform on which to exercise and accelerate the gains. Other conditions that I love, I have people post-bunion surgery, or they have bunions and plantar fasciitis, heel pain. And so just by purely standing on the platform, they get this sensation through their feet, which with these sort of conditions, sometimes they'll have a lack of sensation and like a neuropathy, and they can't feel their feet. So to feel the vibration through the platform, they love to feel that. And then it can help with the pain, because their body picks up on the sensation of the vibration that they're getting from the machine, and it closes the gate. There's a pain gate theory that closes the pain sensation that keeps traveling up to the brain and focuses on the vibration. So it can really help with pain control. Speaking of lower limb type stuff, anyone that has a lot of lower leg swelling or ankle swelling for whatever reason, varicose veins, again, by standing on the platform, even if they don't do anything, but they're standing on it, there's that cellular level vibration through the tissues created from the vibration, and that just helps move lymph fluid and everything back up through the leg, through the system of the body. Then if you stack that with the calf muscle pump exercise, where you raise up and down on your toes, and you're using that calf contraction to pump the blood back up the veins and help return the fluid to the heart and filter it around through the body. It's an environment where you can accelerate the gains that you're trying to get just on the ground. So many different conditions. I could go on about the benefits for
ages. Amazing. I really appreciate that. So I'm curious, and I hope that do you have any actual photographs of the Hypervibe with the reformer and the? Okay, so
I do.
We will make sure that they're posted below here. We're going to have this hosted on a private page within our site, and also a link on the YouTube channel, so people can actually find out how they can actually look and see how you're using it. And I'm so fascinated and excited to hear some of these new things that I haven't actually heard yet before in terms of how people are using the Hypervibe in their practices. And it makes complete sense, everything you shared, because I have such an understanding of the benefits of whole body vibration. And then I've also done Pilates. I've been on a reformer before, and I hadn't thought about that. So for any other Pilates studio or other type of fitness studio, especially if you have someone like yourself that has that background as a physiotherapist and the knowledge of understanding how whole body vibration works, I can see how that would be a tremendous benefit in any type of studio setting to complement and enhance the effect of no matter what it is, in this case, the reformer equipment and doing what you would normally do in Pilates, and just adding Hypervibe to that.
Yes, it's so exciting. I love it. I love stacking the gains, and to me, it's a really integrated whole body approach to maximizing all the gains, tapping into nervous system, into muscles, into balance, all of it. And it's great. So excited to be having.
Yeah, no, I love it. And that's one of the things too, because as a business growth expert, and that's really what brought me into working with Hypervibe. I've worked with companies in a multitude of different industries over the years. And one of the things that's always very important to do is identify how can any business create an advantage in their marketplace over any and all other businesses that are just like theirs in such a way that they can show real tangible benefits and results. So what I'm also hearing from you is that as an expert, as a physiotherapist who also happens to specialize in Pilates, and you have this Pilates studio, that the fact that you're integrating Hypervibe into that, my sense and what it seems like is it actually creates a competitive advantage in your marketplace, that you're giving people a reason to choose coming to your studio as opposed to any and all other options that they have, including doing nothing at all.
Yeah, I completely agree. I see it as a whole another step up to providing a even better service and gaining better results. It's yeah, again, I keep referring to that comment about stacking the gains. It's just, yeah, it's another level, I think, to bring whole body vibration training into these disciplines. So really beneficial.
Well, I'm really excited to not only know that, to continue to support you in your practice in any way that we can, because it's such a, I'm so passionate personally for myself, and you were mentioning those calf exercises and how it helps to strengthen that. And, you know, one of the things for me when I had an L5-S1 microdiscectomy is I had damage along my S1 nerve root. So I wasn't able to lift my left heel off the ground for, you know, a good 9 months to a year after my surgery. And then I started using the Hypervibe, and the speed with which I recovered. And I had one of the top spine surgeons literally in the world. He's done professional athletes all over the world that come and have surgery from him, and all he does is spine surgery. He told me, he said, Doug, you may never get the movement back in that calf. And so for me, I hear that as a challenge, and I was like, okay, game on. I appreciate you saying that, and I'm going to find out how to make that work. And I was so fortunate to come across Hypervibe, and that drew me into having more of a professional relationship with Hypervibe because of the impact that it had on my personal life. So I love hearing that story from you as well.
Yeah, that's a wonderful story and personal experience, because it really is an acceleration tool, and to be able to tap into a spinal reflex that you can't get just by exercising on the ground is phenomenal. We're very lucky that we can use that technology, and it's just another level to reach your gains quicker and probably more efficiently. And yeah, so it's a wonderful piece of technology. I must say too, I should have said this before, I love it even before I go into the studio and I have a big day of sessions ahead, and just to sort of give myself the metabolic boost or the energy boost that you require to go in and you know, give the most to your clients to help them achieve what they do. I just go and stand on it for 3 minutes and I'll use this for my clients too. They're coming in, they might be in a bit of pain, or they're fatigued for whatever reason and not quite ready to get into their session and do the work. To have them come in and stand on the Hypervibe for a couple minutes, you just see the change in mental alertness. There's a rush of endorphins, increase in blood flow. It just wakes the system up and stimulates it, and you're ready to go. You know, so it's also really beneficial just to feel good and prepare yourself for the rehab or the work. Or
I really appreciate you sharing that, because I was about to ask you, how do you use it for yourself? And what you just shared is something for myself I use, and I'm also incredibly passionate about corporate wellness and supporting people that work in office environments, even if they're standing for multiple hours. Standing by yourself, if you're not moving, that's not either. It's better than sitting. It still is something where your body's not moving, your blood's not circulating, and you don't have that endorphin rush. And, you know, I had the honor and privilege to go visit the Google corporate office, their corporate headquarters, and they have a Hypervibe G17 in their corporate office for the purposes of having their employees. And they're known as one of the top corporate cultures in the world for employee wellness, and they've got an amazing 10,000 square foot exercise facility on their campus, and I had the opportunity to visit that. But what was so interesting is hearing, you know, how they're actually using the Hypervibe in just 2 to 3 minutes, just to go stand on it. If you've been sitting behind a desk, if you've been, you know, just feeling lethargic in the middle of the day, and you've got that mental fog that kicks in, and sometimes there's that impulse or urge to go get caffeine and get some coffee. if you want to do that, that's okay also. But you can go and just stand on the machine and just in a couple minutes, completely change your physiology, completely change your focus, your alertness, and be so much more productive with your work tasks than you would have otherwise before. And it's my hope and belief that in addition to Google, but there will be other organizations out there that we can do some real research studies on HyperVibe to show the benefits and increase in productivity and corporate wellness.
Yes, I think that's brilliant. And I would love to see it in physio practices for the physios that give so much a sort of physical energy and mental energy to be able to go and recharge like that quickly in between sessions. And it's so easy too. It's so easy and enjoyable to stand and benefit from that technology. And I think we all love that. It's not a hard thing to want to go and, just stand there and reap the benefits. So I think you're right that in corporate wellness, it's going to really take off, or I hope it does take off, because the benefits are great.
Yeah. Well, and to your point, it is another thing too, because as a physiotherapist or any health related professional, they invest in equipment all the time. That's just part of being a business owner. You invest in equipment, and this is one of those pieces of equipment that you and your entire staff can use and actually receive benefits from every single day. And the people that I know that have their HyperVibe, it is the one must, and it is for me. There's not a day that goes by where I don't use my HyperVibe. And even if I'm traveling in business to another city, I'll go find out, and I look in a database, and hopefully there's a location that has a HyperVibe close by, and I'll see if I can go stop in and use it, because I notice the difference. And it's great for your employees and for your staff. And it is one of those things. The other thing I love about it too is that your body gets the equivalent of a good exercise. And you can be wearing as a man in a business suit, or a woman with a dress and heels, and not break a sweat and go right back to work and get all those benefits.
I know. And that's really important, I think, is there's a lot of barriers that stop people from going out and grabbing that exercise and doing the right thing for their body. And as you said, if you can you don't have to go and get changed. You don't have to break a sweat and be on there for an hour. You can go and just stand in what you've got on, and for a couple minutes really reap a lot of physical benefits. So and I think the more barriers, the less barriers that we have to work through, the better it is. We've got to make it easy and to fit it in with our busy lifestyle.
It is, and that is another thing that we just we see with people, that habits are hard to change, and we know in our society that a lot of people have developed habits that aren't serving them. They're not supporting their a greater quality and longevity of their life because of not moving their body enough. And one of the things that's great about HyperVibe is that it's very minimally interrupting in your lifestyle. So even if you're not feeling like you're ready to go to the gym and start lifting weights or running on a treadmill and having to take the time to go change clothes and that huge interruption out of your day, just in a couple minutes a day. And what's also great, I love about the HyperVibe, and one of our clients mentioned this, and it was just a great example, is that she said it was an elderly woman, and what she loved most about the HyperVibe is that she just gets to show up and stand on it, and it kind of does the work for her. Of course, she's still doing the work, but the HyperVibe helps to initiate that movement. So she feels like it's a training partner of hers that's helping her get that workout in a way that she would not have otherwise done.
Yeah, that's such a brilliant way of thinking about it. A training partner that it really helps you get to where you need to be. And often, it's that first step that's the hardest. So if you've got this training partner that helps you get there and it's easy and you're on it for a couple of minutes, more often than not, you'll stand on it and you'll do a lot more than you had ever intended to do, because you start to feel good. And so you'll be on there probably for 10 minutes and you thought, I'll just go do 3 because it feels so good. And then you start exploring rising up and down on your toes and weight shifting and feeling it in different parts of your body. Then you decide to squat and you feel your legs start to really enjoy that feeling of strength that they get by being on the HyperVibe. So yeah, I like that idea of it being a training partner as well. That's a great one.
Well, Donna, is it any other stories or anything you want to share, in terms of just like really, interesting things that you've seen with Hypervibe?
There are so many that I could pull from my brain. I didn't mention, and as physios and into the Pilates, the pelvic floor is very, very important in the core support of the body. It's one of those foundational muscles that needs to be strong and activated to support the core. And again, because you can tap into more muscle fiber recruitment, you do see the pelvic floor strengthen up a lot quicker because of that lift that is created from the spinal reflex on the Hypervibe. So I do a lot of pelvic floor training specifically on the machine. So all the physio exercises that you would normally do for pelvic floor, again, popping them on the machine, heightening the effect of it, and playing around with the position too. So standing or kneeling or sitting can really change the sensation that people feel through their pelvic floor and how to activate it. So I see a lot of great success with that too. That's a really good use.
That's great. But greatly appreciate your investment of time today. And I hope that this is the first of a few dialogues that we'll end up having. I have a sense that it probably will be. And I know that we'll have a link below. But if you want to share just real quick how people can find you or any type of information, if you have a website or anything to share. But again, we'll also link it below.
Yes, well, if my email, I'm very happy for people to reach out and email and start that conversation and dialogue. So yes, more than I'd love to chat with people about this because I'm very passionate about it as well. So I'd be grateful if you pop that up there and then we can spread the conversation.
Yeah, that's what I'm so grateful for you, Donna, and so many other of our top just experts around the world that are using Hypervibe with different backgrounds, different modalities, different types of medical professionals. And each one of them, the one common denominator that I've found is that they're all so passionate about it that they share it with other people. And, there's a certain point, and I think for each one of us, no matter what our background or our profession is, that there's a certain phase that once we create a certain level of stability and success in our life, that we want to actually then start sharing that and create a ripple effect for other people. And because we know that the only way that we got to where we are is because certain people went out of their way to help us and to educate us and to introduce us to new things. And so I'm so grateful for you and again, just honored to have you here on this webinar podcast that we're doing here today, and look forward to supporting you in any way that we can here at Hypervibe. And again, we'll have your information linked below. And again, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you, Doug. I really appreciate it too. I'm grateful for your passion too, and helping, as you said, all of us share this sort of wonderful technology and benefits. So thank you. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right.